Yeah, again, welcome everyone to our webinar today about the follow-up feature of Mailbutler. We are recording this webinar, so you don't have to take any notes. Also, we will send you the recording tomorrow morning, German time, via email. It will be a simple YouTube link, so you can watch it on YouTube whenever you need. It will also stay there forever, actually. And yeah, next to me, you can see Julia and Irina.
Hi.
Thanks for
Hello.
joining.
Hi.
Irina will observe the chat, so feel free to use the chat. Most of you guys already introduced themselves by telling us where they are from, so keep doing that. It's always nice to see. And Julia is also doing the presentation together with me. Without any further ado, let's start. So, Julia,
Yeah.
it's your turn.
So we would like to start this webinar with some basic information on what follow-ups actually are. A follow-up email is a message that you send to your recipient after initial contact to make sure that your recipient hasn't overlooked your email and forgotten about you. So the goal of a follow-up email can either simply be reminding your recipient of your initial email or reinforcing your initial email by showing your recipient that you value them and that you're very interested in, for example, business collaboration with them. You can also request some further action in your follow-up email as an incentive for your contact to engage with your email, such as asking them to call you back or asking them to fill out a form. Um, Especially for those of you who are not using follow-up emails in the daily workflow yet, um, would like you to understand how important follow-up emails are in business communication and why you really need to start using them. And so we come to the next point, which is why follow-ups matter. There can be different reasons why you didn't receive a reply from a customer or client to your email. So follow-up emails are essential here as they increase the response rate and they keep the conversation going by showing your contacts that you would very much like to hear back from them. Considering that follow-ups emails increase the chances that you get responses to your email, it's not a surprise that sending out follow-up emails also helps you reach higher conversion rates, whether it's securing a meeting with your contact, closing a sale, or getting feedback. And in addition to all of that, follow-ups also show that you just truly care about your clients, customers, or partners, value them, and that, of course, helps to build trust and connections. And follow-up emails also can make your communication clearer as they provide an opportunity for you to clarify things, send further information, just to help your contact understand why you're reaching out to them and what action you're expecting from them. So now that we know about the huge impact of that follow-up emails can have, we'll take a look at the numbers that prove the effectiveness of follow-ups. So research shows that sending follow-up emails can increase your chances of getting a reply by 22%, while 70% of unanswered email chains stop after the first message. And if you send out personalized follow-up emails that are customized to your contact, you can reach an even higher open and click-through rate than when sending generic follow-up emails. And besides that, as we already touched upon, follow-ups can significantly increase your conversion rate. So 60% of customers say no 4 times before then saying yes the 5th time. And so consistent follow-ups really increase your chances of converting your leads by a huge number of 50% compared to if you would just send one single email. And of course, follow-up emails are also very effective when it comes to sales. Here, a good follow-up strategy can increase sales up to 25%. So now I'll be handing over to Tobias, who will give you a demo of Mailbutler's follow-up feature.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Julia. So I will switch screen now, removing the presentation and bringing up that. So I will show you now the follow-up feature, or Mailbutler's follow-up feature in Apple Mail. I'm using Apple Mail because it's the most popular email client when it comes to Mailbutler. Most of our users are using Apple Mail, but in the end, it's nearly the same in Gmail and Outlook. So when you're using Outlook or Gmail, please don't leave. It's the sidebar and everything. This is the Mailbutler sidebar is the same for you. So it's no big difference. Okay, so you see my inbox, and today is about follow-up. So I'm sending an email. Let's say I'm sending an email to Julia saying, I need something. Please send me XY. Of course, you never would write such an email, but just as an example. And now you're adding a follow-up. And the follow-up task is located here in the task button on the drop-down. So when you click here, you find follow-up task. And that's already it. Would be very short demo, but we don't stop here. So I would send this email now. There would be a reminder which reminds me on Monday 8 o'clock, because my default setting is I'm waiting for 3 days. 3 days from now on would be on Sunday. I'm not working on Sunday. That's why Mailbutler automatically moves that reminder to Monday morning, to my working hours. So as I said, we could stop here now. We have a basic follow-up reminder there, done. But there are two limitations. First of all, this reminder will remind me even if Julia sent me the documents XY, but then I don't need to follow up anymore. Or, and the second thing is I still need to remember whenever I send an email to add a follow-up reminder. So there are two automations Mailbutler can help you with. So when you go to your Mailbutler preferences, it's under the three-dot menu. It's actually the new menu up here, the three-dot menu, accounts and preferences. And here we have automations on the sidebar. And here we have two automations which are affecting the follow-up reminder. The first one is down here, which I would like to explain is, so the following should happen every time I send an email. So when I send an email, please add a follow-up task. So for me, actually, I'm sending every email I'm sending, I'm adding a follow-up task just to remind me if I don't receive a reply. But that would be also mean that when I'm sending today, for example, 50 emails, I have Monday morning 50 to-dos. That's also not very productive and helpful for me. So that's why we have a second automation. So the following should happen to my task by default, to my follow-up task. If I receive a reply, so if Julia replies to this email, I want Mailbutler to do something. You could say, set the reminder to complete, which would check this checkbox here, the reminder. Remove the reminder so the to-do stays, but the reminder gets removed, or to delete the task. I personally, I'm deleting the task, because if Julia replies to that email, this task is not helpful for me anymore. It's done for me, nothing to add. I can stop thinking about it, and I don't need to have a checked reminder or a checked task or a removed reminder date. So what I did now, I'm adding a follow-up reminder to every email, and I'm telling Mailbutler, please remove or delete the task, the reminder, whenever I receive a reply. So let's send another email to Julia now, closing this. So each time when I compose an email now, even without entering anything, I already have the follow-up reminder set to Monday morning, because my default time is 3 days, as I mentioned. And this is the automation that the task gets deleted when I receive a reply. Always, I can adjust it. Let's say, okay, this email is just a thank you email. I don't want to have a reminder at all. Click delete. Or you say, for some reason, I don't want to have this automation. Click on this little icon here. As you saw it in the settings, you can change it. You could say, okay, no action. And of course, the same, you can change the reminder date. You can extend it. You can say in 1 month, for example, in next month. So Julie has more time to send me the stuff. And I would always add the deleting the task. Good. That's about setting follow-up reminders for yourself. But of course, now let's assume Monday morning, 8 o'clock, I get reminded that Julia didn't send me the documents, and I get reminded by receiving a desktop notification, like you're receiving when you get a new email or so. So it's easy, of course, to miss that notification. That's why we have a widget for the task under the Home tab up here. We brought it really close to your inbox. So whenever you click on the Home tab, you have, one second, you have different widgets. For example, about the tracked emails, about assigned emails, more about that later. What's urgent today, and that's where we need to check, okay, is there a to-do for me? And I actually have two follow-up reminders, which I need to take care of today. And this gives me just a brief overview about my day today. It just gives me a brief overview, okay, there are two to-dos, but without any context, actually. That's why we also have the task tab, which is really dedicated to all the task and follow-up task. And here again, under today, I see, okay, I have two follow-up reminders, one for the email marketing campaign, which I've sent to Irina, and one about the sales pipeline onboarding call I sent to Julia. For both, I didn't receive a reply because there is this automation active to delete it, and for both need a follow-up. So I don't need to go now to Apple Mail and search for that email. We have a message link behind it. So all you need to do is click on that. It jumps to the message sidebar, which gives you more information. Maybe there was even a note or stuff like that on it. Here's again the reminder. But this also gives you the option to show message in Apple Mail. Click on it. It opens the message I've sent to Irina. And now I can send her a follow-up. And of course, nowadays, you always send emails with artificial intelligence. We have the smart assistant. This webinar is not about the smart assistant, though. Just quickly, you could, for example, click on reply dropdown with details, tell the smart assistant, okay, this should be a follow-up email. Please compose a reply. It takes like 1 to 2 seconds. And here it is. Dear Irina, I hope this message finds you well, blah, 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 blah. Open draft. It's a reply. Subject line here. And now I could send the email. Done. I personally, I don't do it this way when it comes to follow-up reminders, because I'm using a set of different follow-up templates, which I prepared at one point, which I saved in Mailbutler, and I'm reusing them all the time. And just for this webinar, I prepared a few of them. So I go to the draft tab because I'm drafting an email at the moment. And here we have insert template. And wait a second, I'm removing the email which was composed by the smart assistant. So it's empty again. And I'm adding a template now. I called the template something with webinar. Here, follow-up webinar to a quote, for example. Here it is. I even added a placeholder to this template. So when I click on this little I here, it will show me what will be replaced during sending for this placeholder. And the name we're sending is Irina. So when I click on the I, yeah, template variable will be replaced after sending with Irina. So the email would be Dear Irina, and so on. Good. Irina, are there any questions so far?
Yes, we have one that says, what will happen if there is an auto reply at the recipient's side? Will it delete the task or whatever you have chosen?
Yeah, it depends. Sometimes the auto reply is an extra email, so it's not a reply to your email. So you're just getting an email saying, hey, we received your email and so on. And then it's a new email actually. If it's the auto reply is really like a reply to an email, then yes, unfortunately, the follow-up would get removed. But just give me 1 second. You always have the option to add follow-up reminders even to older emails or stuff like that. So let's assume this is an email I've sent a few weeks ago, and I realize, okay, there's still no answer, but I will still give her like 3 days. I could add a follow-up task even the email has been sent already at any time. So even if the follow-up reminder gets removed for some reason, for example, the auto reply, you could re-add it at any time. Good. If there are no questions, I will quickly summarize it because in the end, it's super, super, super easy. Manually adding follow-up from the dropdown. You could do it manually whenever you want. If you don't want to do that manually and you want to have the automations, go to the account and preferences, automations, and consider these two automations. So that's in the end it. Yeah. You need to think about what makes sense for your workflow. Does it make sense to add a follow-up reminder to every email, or if you want to do it manually, and if it makes sense to delete them? Most of the time it does, actually. Yeah. Good. That's it from my side. Or Irina, is there anything?
Yes, there's another question. What about the Apple Mail reminder? How do you turn that off? They have follow-up function as well.
Yeah.
So they're asking about the native Apple Mail reminder.
So Apple Mail, they also have a remind me feature, but it's different from our reminder feature. And there is an option, I believe, to turn it off. But you would need to check some Apple support articles. I'm not entirely sure about how to do it. But yeah, if there is an option in Apple Mail, it definitely provides instructions about it. And I believe there is. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to actively use it. So and you need to decide. Our functionality gives more automations. So that's the benefit of Mailbutler. And you can combine it with all the Mailbutler features, with email tracking, with the template feature, with also the send later feature. So our users, most of the time, they combine it with a lot of features. Yeah. Good.
Then so after this demo of Mailbutler's follow-up feature, we have prepared some tips and best practices that we recommend following when sending out follow-up emails. So it's important to do following up the right way to really achieve results. Among other things, it's very important to know when and how often to send follow-up emails. So it's recommended that you send out follow-up emails within 3 to 5 days after your initial contact. And it's very important to know that studies show that you should always send multiple follow-up emails and not just one. So you should send at least 3 follow-up emails. That leads to 30% higher response rate than when you just send one. And depending on who you are targeting with your emails, it can be recommended to even send more than 3. Studies, for example, show that 80% of sales emails require at least 5 follow-up emails to be successful. The frequency of follow-up emails is also something you should take into account. So you shouldn't send follow-up emails every day because that's really annoying for your recipient, but you should rather give your contact enough time to really read your email, consider your offer. So you should always leave a gap of a few days between each follow-up email. And the gap that you're leaving between those follow-up emails should increase with the number of follow-up emails that you're sending out. So if you send an email on day 1, you can send the next follow-up email on day 3, but then the frequency should decrease and the next one should be on day 7, then day 14, day 28, and so on. As part of our tips and tricks, we've also prepared some do's and don'ts that you should consider when writing follow-up emails. So follow-up emails are more effective if they are personalized to your recipients, as the personalization just underlines that you're really making an effort and value your recipients. So to make your follow-up emails personalized, you can, for instance, reference previous conversations or specific points of interest. In addition, to that, you should always get straight to the point and be really clear about what action you're expecting from your contacts, using a call to action. So whether it's asking them to reply to your email or requesting them to provide you with particular information, you should always add some kind of call to action. Apart from being clear in your follow-up emails about what you're expecting from your contacts, it's equally important to add some value to your follow-up emails, whether it's some unique insight or some helpful resource or just some kind of new information. What you should always keep in mind, and what we've already touched upon before, is not to send too many follow-ups in a short period of time, because you want to give your contacts time to think about your proposal. So just avoid being too pushy, and leave a gap, as we said, of a couple of days between each follow-up email. And then last but not least, even if you're frustrated because you're sending out all of these follow-up emails, but there's no reaction from your recipients, don't get upset, but always keep a professional and positive tone in your follow-up emails. I can see that there's a question in the chat, so maybe we can have a look. Follow-up emails could be, the question is, sending out follow-up emails could be considered by the recipient server spams. And if so, do you have a tool to bypass this recipient server filtering?
I would say the easiest way is to make it not look like a stupid follow-up email. So be creative when you compose it. It's not just John just writes, hey, I'm following up on my last email.
As we said, it should also be really personalized, and you should make it look like an email. Like we said, you should reference previous conversations, so really like an email where the recipient can see you care about them. You're really, you're personalizing it, and you're really, maybe adding some information that you didn't consider in your previous email, but it has reference to your previous email. So it's not just a generic follow-up email. It really has some value, and your recipient can see that, and that can also increase the open rates and the conversion rates, and of course, decrease the likeliness that it's going to be marked as a spam email.
And you need to consider Mailbutler as a tool for your business email communication. So it's not like just a sales tool. Of course, in your business email communication, you also do a lot of sales, yes, but Mailbutler is not built for sales team or just sales teams. So you can use a follow-up reminder to get reminded that you didn't receive a reply for scheduling a meeting, asking for a presentation, even the internal communication. So in these cases, you're not really doing these spammy sales reminder. Then it shouldn't be a problem.
So now that we know everything about how important it is to set follow-ups, how to use Mailbutler to set follow-up reminders, and how to get the best results when sending follow-up emails, you can basically go ahead, get started, experience the power of follow-ups yourselves. As there was a lot of information in this webinar, we'd just like to briefly sum up what you need to do to get started with Mailbutler's follow-ups now. So first, as Tobias showed, decide what you would like Mailbutler to do. So either automatically add follow-up reminders to all of your emails, or whether you prefer to manually set a follow-up reminder to an email whenever it's needed. Then decide what should happen to your follow-up task once your recipient has replied to you. So should the task be set to done? Should it be deleted? Should the reminder be removed? We recommend, as Tobias also showed, that you create message templates for your follow-up emails just to speed up that process. You can create multiple templates for different scenarios. It's totally up to you. And remember to always keep an eye on the follow-ups that are due for the day in your tasks widget, which Tobias also showed in the demo. And as Tobias also presented, you can also view a list of all your follow-up tasks in your task tab. So now you're ready, you can get started and let Mailbutler take care of your follow-up reminders while you focus on your business.
And you don't need to think about all the ongoing conversations you have. So that's automatically done by Mailbutler. So you can really focus on your inbox or on your task. And that's the biggest benefits of the follow-up feature actually for your business email communication. Even if you're not doing classic sales via email, it's helping you that reminding that Mr. X didn't reply to your email, which you've sent a week ago, maybe even if you set it to 1 week. And that's really, really helpful. Good. Now let's come to the Q&A session. I'm not sure if there are more questions because I can't see the chat when I'm sharing my screen.
There's nothing more, but go ahead, ask your questions. If there's anything that you thought was maybe unclear, anything that we could show again, or any kind of questions. Maybe while you're thinking about your questions, there was one more question about follow-ups in the chat. So we can answer that one. So the question is, can I make a follow-up on an already sent email? Yes. So Tobias briefly also showed it. So you can set follow-up reminders when sending emails, but you can also set follow-up reminders on an email that was already sent. That works perfectly as well. So you just go to your sent folder, open the Mailbutler sidebar, and there's the same button as you saw. Yeah, you're seeing this button now. Yeah. So yeah, basically go ahead, set a follow-up reminder, and it works exactly the same way.
Yeah. Another question showing where the reminder are. They are actually all here in the task list. Wait a second, back to list. They're all in the task list. And here you see all the details about it, when it's due. Of course, you can also filter, show me which reminder date in the next 7 days and so on. Different filter options. And yeah, that's where you find it here.
And you also have this, sorry. You also have the widget. So the widget would be located somewhere else. It would be under the home tab of this navigation bar. And there's this widget, and it shows you the like tasks and the follow-up tasks that are due for the day. But you would also receive a reminder. So that would be like just like a regular desktop reminder. And on this reminder, like you can also click, and then it opens the email and you can follow up straight away. But these like overviews, these lists of your follow-up tasks are basically, because you might miss the reminder, or you might just not want to even get reminders. And then you have the option to, just basically have a good overview in this, Mailbutler navigation bar. Yes, so tasks are reminders. Yes, well, basically we call them follow-up tasks, and they remind you. I know that these follow-up tasks are called also follow-up reminders, but there's a difference between this follow-up task and an actual like notification which you get and which reminds you. But yes, I mean, basically follow-up tasks is the same thing as follow-up reminders. There's no difference. We just call it tasks because for us it's like closely aligned to the tasks feature, but it's basically one and the same thing. Yeah. So let's have a look at the other questions.
I like that idea. It's about the assign button. So instead of assigning to people, by the way, they are all grayed out because they don't have access to this inbox. That's also something Mailbutler detects if they even have that email. You could invite them so they can decline it. The thing is, they can, of course, if you, for example, I'm assigning Ayla, then Ayla had the option to remove herself and reassign it to someone. That's always possible. But yeah, I get your idea about also the wording. Yeah, maybe Irina, you can take that as a feature request.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Then can.
We have several questions.
About assigning tasks, of course, you can have a follow-up task, and you can always share it with someone. The thing is, with sharing, the other person you're sharing it with also need to have that email. You can make sure by CCing when you send an email this person, then they have it, then you can share the task with them. That's fine. But if that person simply don't have that email, they don't have the context. That's a problem a little bit with sharing. Yeah. So you always need to make sure that the sharing works. So when I share this, for example, with Irina, she would see that task, but she's not really sure about which email I'm talking. Yeah. Good.
Yeah. So maybe could check from top to bottom again, because can two people collaborate on a single email? Did we answer that one already? I don't think. Yeah. So basically, I mean, that's kind
Should
of
I
like
demonstrate it quickly?
Yeah.
So let's again assume this is an email which our info ad received, and I can see it. I could assign it, yes. But what I could also do, I could add a note and saying, I don't know, 50 users, some additional information, and share it with Julia. And then Julia has that because she has also that email. And when she's viewing that email, or even I assign it to Julia, then she would also see that additional information. What Julia could do now, she could add another note. No, Toby, it was 20. So these notes can be used like a chat. Yeah. So you can add unlimited notes to an email, and you can, of course, collaborate on it. What you can't do, you can't write, let's say when I'm replying to it, and that's simply not possible. You can't write together an email. So when I'm writing an email, of course, Julia can't change something here. She could, when I save it as a draft, reopen it, but that's not a Mailbutler feature in the end. That's how email works. Yeah. But that's the collaboration happens in the Mailbutler sidebar, let's call it like that. Yeah. With notes, with assign, with tags, with task, and so on.
Yeah.
But
Connected
we have these collaboration features, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, connected to that, we also have the question from Mimi, can you create tasks for others? Is that connected to the assign button? So yeah, basically, yes. So it's connected to what Tobias was showing. Same as you can add notes, you can also add tasks. And you can also, like when you share a task with someone else, you can see when they've completed the task. So they can basically tick off that the task is completed, and then you can see that they've actually done the to-do that you've assigned to them. Yeah.
Yeah. It's independent from the assign feature. Wait a second, I need to go back to the email. It's independent from the assign feature, so you don't need to assign it to also share tasks. So without even assigning it, you can share tasks, you can share notes. That's something what we already had always. That's the collaboration features we already had. But the problem the problem we got at the feedback is that no one knew who is kind of responsible for that email. And that's solved with the assigning feature. And also with the live status, you know who's doing what right at the moment. Yeah.
Then we also have a question from Alison about if other team members, I think if I've understood it correctly, it's about if other team members also need to access Mailbutler, like have access to Mailbutler, have it installed to for you to assign an email. So yes, so you need to, everyone who you collaborate with really needs access to Mailbutler, and these are the collaborators Tobias was showing, and you can add these collaborators in your Mailbutler account and preferences, and then everyone who you add as a collaborator, they need to have a Mailbutler account, so that's essential. But if they have a Mailbutler account, you can invite everyone, your team members, whoever you want. So I mean, probably if you're collaborating in an inbox, it will be your team members. So yeah, so you can invite everyone, and then once you've invited them, you can assign emails to each other, tasks, notes, everything. Yeah.
Yes, correct.
And then, and then I think these were all the questions to the shared inbox feature, but there's one more about follow-ups. So is this limited to desktops, or shall be possible to view reminders on iOS device? Yeah. So you can also receive notifications from Mailbutler on your iOS device if you have the Mailbutler mobile app installed. And you can also view your follow-up like you have on your mobile app. You also have a tasks tab, so you can also view your follow-ups there.
Looks like that kind of.
And you can also add tasks and follow-up tasks on the mobile app. Yeah. So that's all possible as well. Yeah. I think these were all the questions.
Just to make it clear, the mobile app is a little bit more limited from the feature side. Yeah, it's more like a companion app to review what is due today for me, what kind of task do I have. It's more giving you some context instead of really replacing your desktop Mailbutler. Yeah.
So it looks like these are all the questions for now.
Cool.
Yeah, if you have any other questions, you can always contact us at support@mailbutler.io, and yeah, we'll just answer any questions you have, anything. Maybe, when you think about this another question pops up, or when you start using follow-ups, maybe you'll have another question. So yeah, just don't hesitate to contact us anytime. We'll be very happy to help you.
Or if you have any feedback about the assign feature, you see I'm super happy about the feature. Feel free to send us an email to support it. Give us some thoughts about it, ideas, because we're developing it in the end for you guys, for the users. Yeah. Good.
Okay.
Then, thanks a lot. I will wait another 1 to 2 minutes. So if you have a question, type now. And for the rest, thanks for joining, and
Thank you.
talk to you very soon. We have the next webinar already next week. You can find the registration form on our website at the top banner. Very easy to find. And then you can sign up for next week webinar, which is actually about the assign feature, which you already saw. But yeah, next week we will give you a better demo of it by really using a shared inbox. Yeah.
Oh, there's another question. From a workflow, do you still use Apple reminders? How do you use both? Yeah, so I mean, if you want to use both, like if you want to set tasks inside Mailbutler, but you're also using Apple reminders, like we have the option to sync your tasks with any, like we offer a lot of services. So basically your favorite app, you can integrate Mailbutler. Yeah, there's a list of all the apps we have. So we have a lot, and we also have Apple reminders. So basically it works that way. Once you've integrated your app, when you set a task inside Mailbutler, it's automatically also showing up in Apple reminders. And then for most integrations that we have, there's a two-way sync. So for example, if you mark a task as completed or do any action on your task, in the service it was synced to, that will reflect in Mailbutler and the other way around. Yeah. So yeah, maybe we can also send a link to our support center for Quinton, because we have a support center article about it.
So the contexts are not in sync. I think it's on our feature list, but it's not possible yet.
Yeah, so for the contacts, it's a little bit different. So yeah, so basically, yeah, you can import all of your contacts to Mailbutler, but yeah, there's no sync, so there's no real life sync. So if there's an update like in your contacts list, for example, your Apple Mail contacts, it's not automatically synced to Mailbutler, but we're currently working on a sync for Gmail Outlook contacts. So that's coming very soon. For Apple contacts, we can't promise anything yet, but for Gmail and Outlook, it's definitely going to be there very soon. Yeah. We'll be informing you via email definitely when this is released. Yeah. Any more questions?
I think that's it now.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Thanks a lot. Big thank you to you, Julia and Irina. And for the rest, see you next week.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye. Hey. Thank you, Irina. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.